Welcome back to Old Studio Car, where we take you deep into the fascinating world of automotive history, one legendary vehicle at a time. Today, we're rolling the clock way back to 1893, to talk about a machine that changed the way we think about personal transport, the Duryea Motor Wagon. This was not just a car, it was the seed from which the entire American automotive industry would grow. Built by Charles and Frank Duryea, this vehicle is considered the first gasoline-powered automobile successfully built and operated in the United States. And even though it's over 130 years old, there are some new restoration updates and details we'll share today, along with how it performed in its own time. From the outside, the Duryea Motor Wagon looks like something caught halfway between a horse-drawn carriage and a motorized future, and that's exactly what it was. The latest restoration update we've seen brings the exterior closer to what the Duryea brothers originally intended in 1893. The wooden body has been meticulously refinished, revealing the warm tones of the handcrafted panels. The high carriage-style frame now shines with a fresh coat of protective varnish, and the brass fittings and lamp housings have been polished to a mirror-like gleam. Even the spoked wheels, still wood with iron tires, have been tightened and repainted to ensure they roll as smoothly as possible. Of course, the real magic happens under the skin. The 1893 Duryea was powered by a single-cylinder, 4-horsepower gasoline engine mounted horizontally. It used a belt-driven transmission system, and while that sounds primitive today, it was revolutionary back then. Performance-wise, you have to think in 19th-century terms. This car could achieve a top speed of about 19 kilometers per hour, or around 12 miles per hour. It doesn't sound like much until you remember that most people were still using horses, and those couldn't sustain that speed without tiring. For its time, the Duryea Motor Wagon offered a smooth, controlled ride that didn't need feeding, grooming, or stabling. Fuel economy was surprisingly good for the era. Using gasoline as its fuel source, still a novelty in 1893, the Duryea could travel roughly 25 to 30 miles on a single gallon, depending on terrain and load. That meant you could make a day's journey into the nearest town and back without worrying about your fuel supply, assuming you could even find gasoline in those days. Driving the Duryea was an experience in itself. The tiller steering required a steady hand, and the spring suspension gave some comfort over rough dirt roads, though it was still a bumpy ride compared to today's standards. Yet for someone stepping out of a horse-drawn carriage, it must have felt like piloting the future. As for price, in its day, a Duryea Motor Wagon would set you back around $1,500 in 1890s currency, which would be equivalent to over $50,000 today when adjusted for inflation. That made it a luxury item, affordable only to the wealthy early adopters who wanted to be ahead of the curve. Modern restorations, however, are priceless. Surviving examples are so rare that collectors would pay well into the hundreds of thousands, even millions, to own one in original condition. The Duryea Motor Wagon wasn't just a car, it was a turning point. It showed America that motorized personal transport was possible, practical, and worth pursuing. Without it, the road to the modern automobile might have been a lot longer. And that's why even today, more than a century later, it still commands respect, admiration, and a place in the history books.